No business likes the CFPB. Take the funding from 12% from the Fed to zero, saves several $billion and more to come.
He had nothing to say about the Minority Business Development Agency. He had nothing to say about JobCore. But he wants to go in and pound his chest about eliminating the Consumer Financial Protection Board. You know, the thing that protects us from fraud and abuse. And if that don't synthesize MAGA for you, no businesses like the CFPB. Yeah, I bet they don't. Guess what? No people like jail. We should just go ahead and, because they don't like it. Hey, shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters and I'm troubled. So, you know, the characterization of minorities and the working class by MAGA, and especially those with power and wealth, you know, lazy, don't want to work. Why don't you pull yourselves up by your bootstraps? Well,
new tonight, tens of thousands of students in the JobCore program are being sent home after the U.S. Department of Labor announced it will pause all centers nationwide. Now, the impact is hitting home right here in Memphis. And ABC 24's Desmond Nugent spoke to one mother who shares why the city of Memphis needs to step up to help the children left behind.
Rochelle Nolan says she never received one single phone call or text message from JobCore about pausing its operations. That information came from her daughter. She tells me what's most disturbing are these children that are left behind with no place to go.
These pictures obtained by ABC 24 show students at Dr. Benjamin L. Hook's JobCore Center in Whitehaven, packing up and being sent home.
It's just heartbreaking for me and me thinking I'm finna finish my courses and get my CMA certification, so it's just been tough.
The U.S. Department of Labor announced they have paused all JobCore centers across the country, stating the decision aligns with President Trump's 2026 budget proposal to create meaningful results for both students and taxpayers. For Hawkins, JobCore was a shot to becoming a better person for her son, but she's more concerned about the students who have no other place to call home.
Everybody right now don't know what to do. They feel like this is the dead end, and I'm trying to remind them they can do anything. I'm gonna pray that God open for doors for them, and I just gotta remind them to keep their faith.
Rachel Nolan, the mother of a JobCore student, similarly emotional about what will happen to the students left behind.
It's plenty of kids in that building who depend on that building that don't have nobody. Plenty of kids that don't have a parent or nobody in their family like me.
Nolan says she had to pick up her daughter from JobCore without any notification from an official at the facility. She says the most painful part, never being allowed to help her child with her belongings.
To watch my baby bring all her belongings down with 4 other students who were residents here was heartbreaking. They done created a domino effect. Them kids in there, that aggression gonna come out some way, and all aggression don't come out in a helpful way. Them kids are in survival mode now.
Now, what absolutely touched me is the cruelty of it, just ending the program without any sort of a heads up, without any sort of a program, without any kind of a bridge back to society. No notification, no heads up, not even from the parents leaving the kids out with nowhere to go, which, by the way, would be even more infuriating if I wasn't already given a heads up about just how much MAGA cares about the rest of us. And by the way, by MAGA, I don't mean everybody who voted for Trump or everybody with a red hat. I mean the ones on Capitol Hill. And the rest of y'all not on Capitol Hill with the red hat, especially those in the working class, I hope you paying attention.
So people are not, well, we all are going to die. So for heaven's sakes.
And just in case you didn't hear her the first time.
Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize
for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
I'm Chad Mills in St. Petersburg, where a cut in the Trump administration's budget is impacting hundreds of lives.
Children are going to be homeless. That's insane.
3 lives on the brink of a worrisome turn. 3 lives feeling the impact of the Trump administration's budget plan. 3 lives that represent thousands more across the country.
Because these people have nowhere to go. They have no people to call or to talk to. They have to go back to places like living on the street and stuff.
They are all students of JobCore, a federal program that helps disadvantaged young people across the country develop key life skills and get the job training necessary to fill vital vocational jobs. One of JobCore's centers is in St. Pete, where these 3 are enrolled.
I used to just sit in my room and be completely alone for like days on end.
But since they enrolled, they were finally feeling purpose. Layla was learning IT, Isaac facility management, and Serenity nursing.
It gives people a greater scale to maneuver around the hardships of life.
So imagine their surprise.
It was out of nowhere.
When Thursday, the Trump administration announced it's pausing the program at many sites across the country, including St. Pete, by the end of June.
We want those tax dollars to be spent in a responsible way.
In recent testimony, the Secretary of Labor pointed to the program's $1.7 billion cost and 39% graduation rate.
This is not something that is sustainable over time.
A source knowledgeable of the St. Pete Center says a recent report used to criticize the program is misleading and pointed to these numbers that show recent success in St. Pete.
It's worth it. These people don't have places to go. These are also kids. There's so many minors here.
Isaac hopes the Trump administration will reverse course. His mother hopes so too.
You voted for President Donald Trump. What would you tell President Trump right now?
If you're going to actually do it, which I don't think you should, I think you should do something different and give it over years' time of transition, not just abrupt with no notice.
For now, though, these 3 lives and many others are facing uncertain futures. JobCore students expect they will be gone from this campus behind me by the end of next week.
Now, I don't know exactly what she was expecting because she got exactly what she voted for. But my heart goes out to all of those who saw the writing on the wall that the billionaires and the guy who needed to win the presidency to keep himself out of jail didn't have their best interest at heart. The department said Thursday it will begin a phased pause, initiating an orderly transition for students, staff, and local communities. Did that look like an orderly transition to you? Because it certainly didn't to me. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer said that the program has been found to no longer achieve, quote, the intended outcomes that students deserve, citing what she describes as a startling number of serious incident reports in our in-depth fiscal analysis. We remain committed to ensuring all participants are supported through this transition and connected with the resources they need to succeed as we evaluate the program's possibilities. Did it look like all participants were supported through this transition? Because it certainly didn't to me. JobCore, established as part of the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964, is a free residential education and job training program for low-income people between 16 and 24 years of age. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. A job training program for low-income people I could get how that would no longer serve the administration's chief goals. Yes, you have told me absolutely everything. And don't let them find out somebody with too broad of shoulders is playing with the women. No, don't let them find that out. And don't let somebody go into the wrong bathroom. Oh, no. Now, say, hey, that is not a priority of the administration. We're talking about going into the wrong. No, we don't care about the low income students. No, we need to sort out this high school soccer situation in Oregon. That's yeah, there's priorities. And if you are wondering where the pushback is for something like this, look no further than the way this is being framed in right-wing media, like this here from the Daily Wire. Trump administration to pause scandal-plagued $2 billion JobCore. So we got scandal-plagued in there. We got how much money it's worth in there. Hopefully they do that in their coverage of Elon Musk as well. And you couldn't even call it JobCore. You had to put it in quotes. It's a no wonder it is an absolute grease fire over at Daily Wire. But when it comes to pushback for something like this, I have a specific level of smoke for a specific kind of person. You know, the kind of person that was out here advocating for low-income students.
Our relatives have paid too high of a price for us not to see discomfort as a motivating factor for our success. I could be a victim or I could be victorious, but I couldn't be both. What matters is our ability to persevere. We come from people who are victorious through perseverance. We come from people who literally had to give it all and never enjoy sweet victory. So if we're going to open the door of opportunity, what we're going to have to do is make sure that we're educating the fourth grader and the fifth grader and the sixth grader and the seventh grader. That's right. That's why part of my $2 trillion bucket includes education. If we don't understand that there is something divine about our presence in this place called America, that's on you.
The kind of person who said that his priority was to give every kid, especially those in low-income areas, especially those that look like him, an opportunity. A person like Tim Scott. You remember Tim Scott? He's the same guy who we still never heard from when Trump eliminated his Minority Business Development Agency. Senate Banking Chair Tim Scott has spent years boosting a federal program to support minority-owned businesses. President Donald Trump's administration dismantled it in a number of weeks. Scott, along with other Republicans, was integral to congressional efforts to permanently authorize the Commerce Department's Minority Business Development Agency, expand its services into rural areas, and leverage the program to help minority-owned businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now the program, which funds grants to business owners and provides technical assistance, support, and mentorship, has had 100% of its staff, about 50 people, placed on administrative leave or redistributed within the Commerce Department, according to a Commerce employee and a Democratic staffer granted anonymity to discuss personnel matters. For years, Scott has prioritized efforts to expand access to capital and economic mobility for underserved communities like the one he says he grew up in, and minority businesses like his own Main Street Insurance Company. The MBDA dates back to the Nixon administration and was one outlet for this mission. But Scott has stayed silent publicly about the gutting of the agency. Trump went and deaded his entire legacy, and that was after he didn't pick him as VP, after he passed him over for the cabinet and stuck him with the job of trying to ensure that other senators get reelected when they're going into a difficult reelection cycle. Made all the more difficult by moves like this.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Now, we have heard nothing, absolutely nothing from this man or his lot, even about the rampant anti-blackness that we have seen from this administration. But that's not to say he didn't have any smoke for racism.
Well, listen, there's a new sheriff in town. The only reason why we're seeing behavior modification on college campuses is because President Donald Trump is demanding it. They're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart because they are following the American ethos. They're doing it because there's a new sheriff with a steel spine. And that makes all the difference in the world. I've been working with President Trump since 2017 on anti-Semitism on college campuses. He made it into an executive order. It's time for us to pass anti-Semitism definition in the committees.
We cannot simply rely on executive orders. We need to pass my Anti-Semitism Awareness Act now. Hate on college campuses cannot continue. You heard that correct. The man has said absolutely nothing about the elimination of his own minority business development agency. He said absolutely nothing about the DEI frenzy, all of the purges we've seen in the military and even in the private sector. Boo!
But wait, there's more.
Internal Navy documents linked to CBS show that they are considering renaming a lot of ships that were named after civil rights leaders. The first one is Harvey Milk. Milk was the first openly gay politician elected to office in California. He was assassinated. Oh, by the way, he was a Navy veteran. They're going to rename the Thurgood Marshall, America's first black Supreme Court justice. They're going to rename the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the first Jewish woman, and the second woman to serve on the Supreme Court. They're talking about renaming the Harriet Tubman, an abolitionist who freed herself and 70 other people that we know of in the Underground Railroad and during the Civil War fought for the United States as an armed spy. They're thinking about renaming the Dolores Huerta, a labor rights activist for over 50 years and one of the founders of the United Farm Workers. They're talking about renaming the Lucy Stone, the first woman in Massachusetts to get a college degree, organized for the passage of the 13th Amendment that ended slavery. They're thinking about renaming the Cesar Chavez, one of the other founders of the United Farm Workers, and ironically someone who campaigned against illegal immigration because he thought illegal immigrants were strikebreakers. I wonder if Pete Hegseth knows that. Do you think he even knows who Cesar Chavez is? They're thinking about renaming the Medgar Evers, World War II Army veteran who campaigned against segregation and was shot when he was 37 years old. His murderer was not convicted until the 90s.
But he wants you to know we need to get this Anti-Semitism Act passed now. That guy. So here, right, when we're talking in the business sector, like a space that he has made his bones, specifically when you're talking about low-income students, I wonder if he would have anything to say about that. You know what? He actually did take to the news.
Well, first, let's thank Elon Musk for his amazing service to the American people. He has done what no one else has done before, found hundreds of billions of dollars of cuts and waste, fraud, and abuse. No more 300-year-olds getting Social Security checks because of Elon Musk. Thank God that President Trump had the wisdom to put Elon in place. We will make sure that those cuts are permanent in our spending packages going forward. We need less spending from the American government and more Americans having their own money to make their decisions.
So if you got this straight, after the JobCore program was cut, he had absolutely nothing to say, but he ran to the news media to slurp Elon Musk.
All right, so what you want to do, my man?
Who was last seen like this.
Well, it's a very sad case. It's a case we win. We can't lose that case because we have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants like that. But I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem. They've acted very well. And there are other institutions, too, that are acting, but Harvard's trying to be a big shot. And all that happened.
So apparently, I'm forced to assume that a program for low-income students and residents must be waste, fraud, and abuse. That's what I'm left to conclude.
Musk identified a lot of fraudulent and waste, and he identified it. but it's not yet been cut, has it? What we need from Congress is a rescission package so that the money that was committed can be taken back. That's what we need to make Musk real. Is that right?
100%. The rescission package gives us a limited amount of time to take the president's package and make it law. The good news is, Stu, as you already know, it only takes a simple majority in the Senate to codify those cuts so the American people get to keep that $175 billion and counting.
Yeah.
It will get done. We have the votes to do it.
Well, this is kind of awkward because the same way that he is floating out misinformation now is the same way he was floating out misinformation before the election. But in this case, not even Musk is agreeing with what you're saying. That's why he objected to the big, beautiful bill, which apparently cannot be both, according to Elon Musk. So not even the guy who you're trying to slurp is agreeing with the words that are coming out of your mouth right now.
Are you disappointed with the spending cuts in the big, beautiful bill? You want more cuts?
Well, Stuart, the good news is President Trump made promises. He's keeping those promises. We will avoid the largest tax increase in American history. Drill, baby, drill is a reality.
Did somebody say drill, baby, drill is a reality? You might want to address the outbreaks of black lung that the coal miners have been railing against before you go forward with that part.
Free x-rays and protections for sick miners now abruptly halted, even as doctors in Appalachia are finding black lung is making a brutal resurgence, impacting younger and younger miners.
This guy is 30 years old.
This guy's already passed away.
If you had President Trump sitting here, what would you say to him?
You know, I would say that I understand cutting waste in government, but this is not something to cut. This is essential for the health and well-being of the people that helped elect you.
But we will find more cuts. The responsibility of the chairman in the Senate is to find additional cuts. In the banking area, I found billions of dollars of additional cuts to add on top of the bill. Let me give you one example, Stu. The CFPB. No business likes the CFPB. Take the funding from 12% from the Fed to zero, saves several $1 billion and more to come.
He had nothing to say about the Minority Business Development Agency. He had nothing to say about JobCore. But he wants to go in and pound his chest about eliminating the Consumer Financial Protection Board. You know, the thing that protects us from fraud and abuse. And if that don't synthesize MAGA for you, I don't know what will. Even the nonsensical justification, well, no businesses like this, like the CFPB. Yeah, I bet they don't. Guess what? No people like jail. We should just go ahead and, because they don't like it. You know what I mean? They don't like it. You know what? There's not a whole lot of people who like oversight or government of any kind. Should we keep this ball rolling, Tim Scott?
Great news is Medicaid, work requirements, no more illegal immigrants receiving resources from Medicaid, and more cuts from every committee in the Senate. That's good news for the American people.
How much more do you want to cut out of government spending? Can you give me a number?
Well, the goal is, listen, if we could, we'd go back to the 2019 budget, which would bring us down to $6.5 trillion in spending. That would save an additional $700 billion. Our goal should to see at least $1 trillion in cuts and try not to spend them with additional incentives in this big, beautiful bill.
Are we going to get the big, beautiful bill, the whole thing wrapped up by July the 4th? That's the target. Are we going to get there?
The good news is Independence Day will be celebrated with amazing stars across the Capitol and a celebration of this big, beautiful bill being signed into law, I believe, at the White House before July 4th. good news for the American people as well.
You know, the president's going to be very disappointed if he's not signing that thing on July the 4th. You know, he wouldn't be happy, would he?
He's going to sign it. Oh, my goodness. He would be apoplectic.
Yes,
so
exactly.
There's no question, Stu.
I like that word.
He's going to sign the bill.
Now, that is the one true thing that he said. I have no doubt that they are going to spare no expense on the pageantry of July 4th, because that is something that strokes Trump's ego, and they are all about the show with a complete absence and lack of substance. You know, like pausing the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice while throwing out a couple pardons so people could say he's for the people. That kind of show. Or maybe that was the pardon czar who he named in February, who chose those pardons that he just gave out. Or did they eliminate that already? Did he name her the pardon czar and then decide in March that that was DEI and strip it away from her? It wouldn't surprise me. But when it comes to hypocrisy, this takes the cake for me. Democrats continue to place illegal aliens ahead of the American people. This nation deserves better.
It's unbelievable. Democrats from John Ossoff in Georgia to Chris Van Hollen in Maryland, they have one thing in common without any question. They all seem to support illegal immigrants more than they do American citizens. Just a few weeks ago, a South Carolina student lost his life because an illegal immigrant driving a car without a license killed him. Talking to that mother about the loss of her child, it's devastating. Think about Laken Riley. The one thing Democrats refuse to do is stand up for Americans when it comes to illegal immigration. It's time for us to get it right. Getting it right means doing the right thing for Americans, not for illegal immigrants. Talking to these families, it is hard to talk to a mother about the most unnatural thing she will ever do. Bury her son, 21, 22 years old, just trying to get an education. We can't just say, oh, that's unfortunate. No, it's criminal, and it should never have happened, because Biden allowed 10 million plus illegal immigrants to come across our southern border. President Trump, in just an instant, closed that southern border. What do we have to do now? We have to get the violent criminals out first and then have a process to eliminate the rest of them. That's why I celebrate his provocative ways of saying, I'll give you $1,000 for self-deportation. What he's saying is, put Americans first. That's how you put America first, and that's how you restore confidence in our legal system.
Aside from the litany of families of victims that have said they don't want to be politicized in this way, the embarrassing nature, he just said, talking to the mothers, talking to the family, that's what he just said. Do you know how many people have been unalived by American citizens? Do you know how many it's been done specifically because the victim was who the victim was? And I'm talking about hate crimes right now. I know you said nothing about the rampant anti-blackness that we have seen this year, but nothing about even actual crimes. You're talking about deprioritizing American citizens, where our victims can't even make the news. We don't get no placard that gets paraded around our Capitol Hill if the perpetrator wasn't an illegal. Is that not only have you ceded that that's the way that you're going to move, you've been doing it for so long, we can call it and clock it now at this particular point in time. It is absolutely disgusting how far they have taken this rampant double standard. But it shouldn't surprise anybody, because as we've seen from the beginning, exactly how much they truly care, how much empathy they truly have, how deep the well of empathy truly flows from within the GOP representatives. But in this particular case, when it comes to you trying to give people a chance and an opportunity to better themselves, a chance at upward mobility, the thing that you criticize disenfranchised communities for not taking advantage of, and you strip those opportunities away when those are things that you specifically hang your hat on and you have absolutely nothing to say, but you want to run to the news and slurp Elon Musk and talk about illegals? Yes, we see exactly where your priorities lie. And it ain't us.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Uh-oh.
I just love you.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you got a chance to catch the live premiere. As I mentioned last time, I premiere all of my videos and I love the opportunity to chat with you guys while you are seeing the content for the first time. And we keep those chats going over on Patreon, where we have the community chats. All you need to participate is an account, which you can sign up for free over at patreon.com/ReeseWaters. So get yourself an account, jump in the chat, and while you're there, take a look around and let me know what you think of the place. We also offer all the same benefits that are available here on membership on Patreon as well. Now, I'll be honest. I have been working a lot. I've been out here working like Tommy from Martin.
If you can't find any work, I'll put in a good word for you at my job, man. You ain't got no job, man!
I've been making so much content that we've had to put out multiples a day some days, or as I call it, BOGO. So be on the lookout for additional notifications. Just because you've seen one video come out doesn't mean another one might not. And those of you early birds, of which I am not one, you are in luck, because I do want to try out dropping some videos in the morning, because I know you guys like to watch content early in the morning. Now, that also gives me the opportunity to put out some behind the scenes content, so you members be on the lookout for that, as well as some interviews. I'm going to be bringing those to you as well.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we will leave you with a I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live!
But when it comes to exactly how we got to a point of producing so much content, so many people went into this, but I want to give some special love to our researcher on the channel, Regina. You guys know her and you love her, and here she is right here. Shout out to her supporting the channel, which, by the way, this shirt and a whole lot more is available at reesewaters.com, so make sure you check that out. But as long as she's still out here doing her thing, I'm going to be out here doing my thing. There's a whole lot more to come. Don't make me go to the Trump.